I have an alert for Black America. Listen, do not trust the top 5 Native American tribes. We are not them. I'm going to break it down in this video, and it's going to get, very historical, just like the Abraham Lincoln video if you saw that one. If you did not, I'll link it down below. But let's talk about why this tribal citizenship that they're now offering is not reparations for us. So I've seen reports everywhere that certain, nations of Native American tribes are now offering freedman tribal citizenship. And under the term freedman, you have to listen very closely. Now, I'm a writer, a marketing analyst of 9 years, if you don't know. And so language is a top priority for me. And so when I first saw that term, you get it as a freed man, that implies that you were once enslaved by those tribes. But let me finish. Let's keep going here. Listen, this is not unity. This is a rebranding of betrayal. And listen to this quote from the U.S. Cherokee Freedmen policy of 2021 to 2025. Freedmen are descendants of enslaved people held by Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Muscogee, Creek, and Seminole nations. This is not conjecture. This is policy. The 5 tribes actively, very actively, by the way, if you're unaware of history, enslaved Black African men, women, and children before and after the Civil War. So who are these top 5 civilized tribes? And by civilized, they clearly meant, hey, they enslaved African peoples just like the Europeans did back then. That's what they meant by civilized, okay? Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, Muscogee, and Seminole, okay? They were labeled civilized by the U.S. because they adopted European-style enslavement, agriculture, and government. Cherokee Nation owned more than 4,000 African slaves by 1860. They signed treaties with the Confederacy and resisted abolition even after the Emancipation Proclamation by Abraham Lincoln. Ooh. Can we talk about the myth of unity really quickly here, okay? Many of us were taught we have Native ancestry. I was told that by family. I saw that on my DNA. 1% Peruvian, fantastic. I could care less. That's why I live in Africa, because I am an African woman at the end of the day. We have Native ancestry. We were one people, but historically, Native nations fought to retain back Black slaves after the Emancipation Proclamation, denied freedman citizenship for over 100 years, which is like longer than the actual government of America, and only recently reinstated limited tribal access. Not you can become a citizen, but again, under the term freedmen, not kin, but only as a descendant you can join. You can't join as one. They don't perceive that you are Native American the way that you may think you are. That 1 to 2 to 3 to 5% that you have, they don't really care about that, okay? They do not see you as their own. And that is not reparations, okay? That is spiritual warfare through paperwork. So, the treaties, the lies, and today's laws. The 1866 treaties between the U.S. and the 5 tribes required them to free their slaves and adopt them as full citizens. Yes, you heard that right. The American, very much European government created a treaty that required the Native American tribes to free their slaves and adopt them as citizens. But instead, the tribes resisted, changed constitutions, and redefined citizenship based on blood quantum, not legacy. Even today, the Cherokee Nation formally recognized freedmen in what year? Not 1890, not 1920. In 2017. You know what? Let me pause for a moment because I'm going to need you to hit the like button, share this with somebody that homeschools their children, with somebody that's a history buff, or someone that you are so tired of hearing them say, I'm a Native American, I'm a Native American. Send them this video. Really do so that they can research this for themselves. And please do not get the new freedman citizenship that they have out. I believe it is a trap. I believe you're going to be in a situation because hurt people hurt people. This is obviously a group of hurt people. But also, if you look at the history of the Mayas, the Aztec, the Inca, it's not the greatest history. And not to be rude, but there was a lot of human sacrifice that was happening. There were a lot of dark things that were happening on that continent, again, which is another reason that I live in Africa. I truly believe Africa is the last frontier, especially Southeastern Africa is the last frontier that humanity needs to look at, the origin of everything. Because at the end of the day, the history of America, North and South America, really does matter and tie in to not only the spiritual realm, but what you see happening today. It was a land built on bloodshed and slavery, but it didn't just start with the Europeans who came over. That land was like that for a very, very long time, which actually allowed in the spirit people to come over and then to take groups of people and enslave them and do very horrible and treacherous things, as we know. But look, share this video with 5 to 10 people. And if you are interested in more content like this, or if you are an educator, a consultant, an expert in some type of way, and you want to talk about your historical analysis in a business format, check out Black Educators Amplified. It opens up August 24th. We are on the 7th edition of the cohort. We have helped functional medicine providers, electricians, we have helped consulting agencies, people who do project management consulting. They used to do it at their 9 to 5, but now they're ready to create their own content and their own personal brand. Check it out at the link in the description. It's a phenomenal cohort. It's a phenomenal time. We walk you through what it looks like to outlast the age of AI. So if you see our channel, you see our business, you see what we do, and you're like, how can I be a part of that? Most of our agency clients pay $55,000 to $100,000 per year plus to work with us. But for you, it's not going to be that amount because we're going to work together for 12 weeks. We have combined everything that we teach our agency clients and do for them because it's a done for you service, and apply it to your small business. Check it out at the link in the description. And unfortunately, the Chicksaw Nation still blocks Black freedmen from tribal citizenship. Their logic is you're not Indian unless you have the blood, not the bondage. And by Indian, you know, I mean Native American. Now, why this matters for today's diaspora builders, okay? If they wouldn't claim you when it cost them, why would you trust their paper piece now? In 2025, they barely want to do it just a couple years ago in 2017. Why? A lot of people, I think, want to hold on to America in some type of way. They see it falling, they see it crashing, but they want to hold on to it in some type of way. They haven't been able to really let go, but you have to let the idol of America go. You have to let it go, or you will be falling and declining along with it. You know, my husband, he's a trader. He invests, he watches the charts, and I think it was Friday, he was watching the Forex from the dollar and maybe like, I don't know if he was looking at the dollar versus the Australian dollar. I don't know what he was looking at. But he came in and he showed me this big red arrow that went down super quick for the USD. And he was like, oh, something happened. That shouldn't be doing that right now. And then, you know, Sunday, or actually the next day, Saturday, we come to find about what happened with Trump and Russia, how Trump had sent some Marines to Russia. And he's like, oh, that's probably why it declined like that. You need to be aware that America will continue to decline. I can guarantee that, because I read the Bible, I read Revelations, and that is how I can guarantee that. And I just want you to wake up and see that it's not what you think it is. Even the Native American tribes there, it's not what you think. Then, of course, we have the situation happening in Mexico with both Black and white Americans, where they are literally protesting to get Americans out of there. They don't want y'all there. And that's, you know, that's their business. That's their place. That's their country. So, you know, you should just move to a different territory that's more welcoming towards humanity. If you've ever spent time in Africa, if you've ever spent time in Asia, you can attest to this, that the global south on this side of the world functions much differently than people on the western side of the world. So again, this is a warning to Black Americans seeking reparations through tribal affiliation. I know I will never do that. I do not care if I have 1% Peruvian DNA. I do not care. Okay. Freedman descendants applying for tribal aid. Afro-Indigenous influencers trying to blend history for visibility. Please stop. We really need to talk about this history in context. Okay. And, you know, don't trade spiritual sovereignty for political symbolism. Don't let policy rename you into a reminder of captivity that could actually turn into real captivity, because we know things are going really strangely in the West right now. And remember, Freedman is not a promotion. Oh, just listen to that. Freedman. Oh, I'm a freedman. Why would I walk around like that? That is not a promotion. It's a scar stitched with legal ink. You are not a descendant or a dependent of the 5 tribes. You are not a sub-citizen of those who sold you. You are the remnant. You are the seed. You are the chosen. You are sovereign. And so function like it. Try somewhere different in the world. You know, even if you want to go to South America and you're interested in like Brazil or Panama, fine. That, whatever, do you, okay? Do what you want to do. But definitely don't get this freedman citizenship. Just keep your U.S. citizenship and look elsewhere. Y'all know Benin is offering citizenship now as well. Like, just see your different choices. Or, you know, if you want to go explore Asia, go have fun and do that. There are so many options out there, and I do not want you to be amongst a society that treats you like a sub-citizen. Shalom, shalom. I'll see you next time.